Come on, let's get nuts.
Well, hello, children. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully good. It's Tuesday. What the hell? Another Tuesday Film Junkie Live. What's going on right now? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Hit that like, thumbs up, do all that. But yeah, I mean, we had the holiday yesterday, and I was still on weekend mode, and I was like, you know what? Things weren't. I was like, you know what? Let's just push it to Tuesday. So I think we're good, right? You guys are okay with a Tuesday Film Junkie Live? Most likely, Wednesday's Film Junkie Live will get pushed to Thursday. I don't know. We'll see what happens when it comes to that. We'll see what happens when it comes to the news, at least, you know. So, how we doing out there, guys? Hopefully you guys are doing good. We got Ryan right here. Great to see ya. J Fizz, I'd be super hyped for a Batfleck novelization. I'm sure that's what you're talking about. Yes. Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying there, J Fizz. Yeah, I posted that clip from last week when I talked about that, so. We got Harbull right here. Well, I guess this shows how professional Gunn is, not letting old beefs prevent hiring the apparent best people for the job. Could be worse. And the guy with the ball cap, right? We got Mr. Nobody right here. How's everybody doing? I'm doing all right. We got Mr. Fear Jason. We got JD McRae right here. How's it going, Dave? Can't believe the Reds swept the Dodgers, right? So freaking good. Yes, get those Dodgers, losing streak for the Dodgers, and the Giants are on, they're kind of on a tear right now. The Giants are on a tear right now, guys. So that's what's great. We got Music Man. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, all right. Good to see you, everybody. Great to see you. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Like I said, didn't have a show yesterday because, why do it when I was still in weekend mode? Because I had a pretty busy, eventful weekend. So I was like, you know what? Why do that? Hey, we got Mr. Chris Balga right here. Evening day. So Glenn Powell said I would have a wild take on Batman. It definitely would not be like a Matt Reeves tone. It'd probably be closer to Keaton. Thoughts on this? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about as well. Let's not get ahead of us here, So, but I appreciate you joining, Mr. Chris. And we also got Darren right here. What is happening, Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later? But yeah, we're going to talk about, because Glenn Powell has just been talking. It just seems like, I've been like, how many goddamn interviews did that guy do? Holy Lord. So many interviews. It just seems like there's like a Glenn Powell piece like every other day that's going on right now. We got Hudson. What's happening? I'm an East Coast fan, South Carolina. I normally can't catch you live because I'm usually asleep for work, but I'm up and just wanted to say I'm a big fan and appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you too, Hudson. And go Braves. Oh, we got a Braves fan here. Oh, man, I heard Acuna. He just had a season-ending injury that happened, what was it, on Sunday, right? Eesh. Yeah, it sucks. Tell you, some of these baseball players they tweak their legs, they tweak their arms, they tweak a lot of things, a lot of injuries that have happened just like randomly. But yeah, so it sucks for you guys. Yeah, I know. I get it, man. We just the Giants just lost one of the big hitters on their team, fucking Wade Jr. He tweaked himself. He pulled his hammy. So he's going to be out for at least 10 days. And it was like he was kicking ass. So it just kind of friggin' sucks, man. Oi. And we got Mr. Naval right here. Good to see ya. We also got Jacob. People are super excited for Twisters, the blockbuster of the year, man. Is that what it is? Which injury did the player have? Oh, he tore his ACL. If you're talking about Acuna, yeah, he tore his ACL, and that's career-ending. Not career-ending, season-ending. Not career-ending. They could repair an ACL, but, that's season-ending stuff right there, so it sucks, man. So it just seems like players these days are pretty fragile. They could be just one little tweak, and just tear something. Terrible. I miss the Giants being good. The Dodgers are a pain. The Giants are in second place, They're still, they're still putting up a fight. That's all. So I'm not losing hope yet. They're still in it. But anyways, guys, yeah, I'm wearing look at this new Film Junkie shirt. as I hold my breasts. But yeah, I got a new Film Junkie shirt, one of the new designs. I got it coming in right here. So obviously I based it off of the Jurassic Park design. I thought, I got a little creative. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take the brand, try to turn it into like, a movie logo. And I got another one on the way too. So, but yeah, this was the Jurassic Park design right here. So hey, they got the Film Junkie closet down below that has all kinds of goodies in there, all kinds of merchandise. So pretty good shirt, pretty comfy, pretty thin, pretty not too bad quality, I tell you. Sometimes I wonder about these shirts though, but yeah, so pretty good stuff. I like it, I dig it. So we got Stephanie T right here. Good to see you. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to these tweets. We're obviously going to be talking about DC updates and certain... Yeah, I didn't have like my little opening thing right there because I just didn't really... I don't know. For the reason I just like, I'm not going to do it today. I don't know why. But yeah, we're going to be talking about DC stuff with DC, of course. Naturally is what we do here. And, a little thing when it comes to Mr. Damon Lindelof. I'm probably saying his name wrong, as I usually say names wrong. And James Gunn, there's some people out there that dug up like an old post from James Gunn, and we're kind of just like, we're going to like examine that, but we're going to talk about some of the other DCU updates. We're going to talk about, the co-CEO of Netflix saying something fucking stupid that he said the other day. Let's talk about that. We'll talk about the box office and how that just is not getting any better. And then we're going to talk about George Miller and his Justice League movie. But hey, let's first look at Mr. Nicholas Hoult right here. Looking very Lex Luthor. Yeah, that's right. Apparently he likes to race a little bit. And yeah, doing a little posing with that beautiful freaking piece of machinery right there. But my God, that's cool. So these images were floating around. And of course, people are naturally already making, art, basing art, and making some pretty cool stuff right there. So thought that was pretty cool. That happened on the weekend. And speaking of art, guys, look at this right here. What? Wow, we got some Batfleck action happening right there. You recognize that face. You recognize those short ears on that Bat-Cowl. You recognize that big stature of a Batman right there. You recognize the costume. And yes, posted this right here because Mr. Aaron Bailey, you guys know who Aaron Bailey is, of course, Aaron Bailey Art. He was like, you know what? Hey, I want you to post this right here. It's like an exclusive image. He gave me an exclusive. That's right. Mr. Exclusivo over here gave me the exclusive image of his Night of the Batman that he's been working on for a little bit. Aaron has actually talked about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll gladly post that right there. He's going to be doing basically it's I think it's a story that's in between BVS and Justice League. I might be wrong. I'll have to get but it's something that he's been working on. Looks pretty cool. And Aaron, a lot of people say is he using AI because that's always the hot button thing when it comes to those two letters. A lot of people don't like hearing those two letters together. But no, he's using a bunch of other tools that he's utilized before. Very talented dude, and I'm sure I'm going to have him on the Vox stream soon to talk more about Night of the Batman. But yeah, I thought that looked cool. Gave me a little Woody. When I saw that, I went, damn. Something about a prison break that's happening right there. A prison distraction because his villain and his story is the Scarecrow. Looks pretty freaking awesome right there. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny because he gets hounded is this AI? AI, man, I tell you. It's kind of funny too because I posted the clip from last week's Wednesday show. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, when I did my Furiosa review, when I gave you guys my full review of Furiosa, I talked about how the young Furiosa was actually they utilized AI because Anya Taylor-Joy was on, I forgot which morning talk show that she was on, but she talked about how that the young actress doesn't actually look like her, so they utilize AI to do a composite of both her faces, and they kind of did it on a scale. And posting that clip really it went off, and it was kind of interesting to see the reaction to it because I had a minority of people really got triggered by it, and yeah, on my Instagram I I had somebody who said something very awful. Said some just pure like, fuck you for saying this. And I'm like, what did I even say? I wasn't championing AI. I was just making fun of the fact that when you say AI, Jesus, people lose their minds. But a lot of people went, well, yeah, this is where AI actually is utilized as a tool. It's not replacing anything. It's utilizing the technology to make the actress look like her. And then I had a lot of people go like, why didn't they use that for Charlize Theron to make her look younger? I'm like, well, that would have been a lot more of a process. And George Miller even said he didn't want to utilize a de-aging kind of technology to make Charlize Theron look younger. He was going for a Furiosa that was, basically just like 20, 21, 22 years old, very early 20s. So, yeah. I don't know. It was just funny seeing the reaction because, like I said, you say AI, people lose their shit. Some people do. But, yeah, it made the rounds. That clip did definitely make the rounds. Anyways, and then, of course, we got the new Beetlejuice trailer. I didn't do a reaction or anything like that because I was like, it looks good. I'm going to go see it. It looks like it's going to be a fun movie. Some of the shots do not look that great. I'm like, man, some of the VFX, wow. But then I'm kind of going like, well, it is supposed to be more practical than CGI heavy. But obviously, when it came to some of these posters, I mean, it was great. Obviously, I still very much enjoyed the trailer, but naturally, they also released posters for the whole thing. And we got everybody there. Astrid, they named her Astrid Dietz. So we got the Dietz people right here, and then, of course, Beetlejuice, and then there's the trailer right there. Like I said, it's a decent trailer. It's a pretty decent trailer. And then guess what, guys? We're only halfway through the shoot for Superman. According to James Gunn right here, somebody asked, like, hey, when's the trailer coming? What's going on? He said, we're only a little over halfway through. So they're probably, 60% done? 65% done. That's what I'm guessing when it comes to the Superman shoot. Take your time. It's supposed to be shooting through what? I don't know. It's like 5 months. It was like from March to so August, like March to August, something like that. That's basically what they were saying. And it's been a little scary too because there's been the whole threat of another strike that's been happening when it comes to crew members. I always forget the acronym for the crew members. It's like IAS something. I don't know. But the crew members, I've talked to somebody who's been on the Vodka stream talking about all that, who's part of all that, and things are still not good with all that. So there was always that, with movies that are being shot right now, there's always that little threat of what if production just ends again because of another strike that happens? But apparently they're still they've been working all that out. But yeah, halfway through. I even had somebody in my mentions go geez, that's a short shoot for a Superman movie. I went, 5 months? What? I mean, there's even other people in my mentions that were like, what I'll take whatever you're smoking. 5 months? Man. And I'm like, yeah, that's actually a pretty lengthy shoot. I mean, generally, I guess you could say, when it comes to these movies, they usually last about, sometimes, yeah, some of the bigger movies, especially if you're doing a big, huge, team-up movie, yeah, that's going to take longer. That's going to take 6, 7, 8, maybe even 9 months. But I think for, a Superman movie, that's this, okay, 5 months is pretty good. So halfway through, a little more than halfway through. Take your time. Don't go too crazy. Don't go too crazy. And then, of course, this is freaking awesome right here. I mean, again, I can't stop raving about everything that's happening with Deadpool and Wolverine and all the marketing that's going into it. And, with the box office suffering how it is, let's face it, Deadpool and Wolverine is most likely going to be very huge. And then, of course, we have this right here.
It's coming from out there. Hey, Bub.
Bub.
You're in a movie theater, not the jerk-off room in your mom's nursing home.
Jerk-off room.
The phone is silent or I'll shove it so far up your you'll have to answer it through your No, easy now. Easy now. So much testosterone. It's... God, when you yell like that, it makes my vibrate.
Oh my God.
At least I think it's my Listen, just, turn your phones off. Or... put him on silent, whatever you prefer. I'm going to take his neck veins for a walk now. Enjoy the film. Nice fourth wall break back there. I didn't think you had it in you.
Shut your mouth.
No. They do not like that word in America. Or Canada. Or the Netherlands.
I'm going to take his neck veins for a walk. That's hilarious. We heard about this. They actually showed this at CinemaCon, but they also showed more at CinemaCon too. If you guys actually saw my interview with Sean O'Connell, who was actually there, he actually gave like a little description of like something else they actually showed there too. But that's perfect way to do all that. Yes. And you saw it, yeah, some people saw it before Furiosa. Sadly, I didn't. I wish I did. But yeah, it's good stuff right there. Again, good freaking stuff. Come on. All right, I talked about this when it comes to Sony and Spider-Man, and we did talk about this on the Vox stream a little bit briefly too, because it was just one of those things where I'm like, I'm trying to understand, first off, what Sony is doing and how much of a fucking boil on the butt they are when it comes to Marvel Studios, because let's face it, I think Kevin Feige and crew probably would not want Sony to have the rights to the Spider-Man universe that they actually have, and they would have all the rights to Spider-Man. And of course, we have something from a scooper from Mr. Daniel RPK stating that Sony wants Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to return in their own cinematic universes within their own multiverse plans rather than the MCU's. What is Amy Pascal doing? I don't know. Okay, this is what we want. I know that. I want that. I want a Spider-Man 4 directed by Sam Raimi and starring Tobey Maguire. I want more, to be honest. I'd actually want more of Andrew Garfield. I think a lot of people, even though the Amazing Spider-Man movies weren't, I guess when they came out, they just weren't as popular as they once were. But now everybody's just kind of going like, Andrew Garfield, he's like the fan favorite. It's kind of interesting. But my question was, do they want to come back to what Sony is doing? Because after, obviously it's been since the end of 2001 since No Way Home came out, and we've been clamoring and just wanting more of them, as well as Tom Holland. We're not leaving Tom Holland out, but we want more of them, and there just hasn't been any movement. And there hasn't been any movement for Spider-Man 4. It's kind of a weird thing that there hasn't been that much movement when it comes to Spider-Man, except for, obviously, the Spider-Verse stuff, but it's all just been about, well, Sony's just going spin-off, and they've all sucked. And Craven will probably suck too. Hopefully it'll be better. Have a little bit more faith. But I'm just kind of going like, is Andrew and Tobey, do they actually want to come back to this mess? I don't think they would. And I had so many people that were just like, oh yeah, they've said it. I'm like, oh yeah, they've said it, sure. But still, look at the garbage they put out since. I just don't know. No Way Home shows that Andrew Garfield can do as Spider-Man with a good quarterback. Yeah, exactly. Those films are good. The Amazing is. Honestly, Amazing Spider-Man 3 would be perfect tie-in. I know. But then, of course, they're talking about The Last Dance, Venom Last Dance, being like it for Tom Hardy's version of all that. So, I don't know. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I mean, obviously, Sony would want that. They would want them to come back because they've seen what people have talked about. I mean, come on. Damn, did you guys see this? Paging Scott McClellan. Did you guys see this lifelike Bale Batman? We don't need to put that on right there. Look at this. Look at this. Dark Knight trilogy, statue, very lifelike. It's insane. Okay, it's taking way too long to do that. But look at that. Look at that head right there. Look at all the pieces, the cape, the cowl, the hair. Look at that thing. Look at that. Look at how realistic that freaking looks. Holy shit. He's even got stubble. Even got stubble in the face. He even got his little mole that he has right there. So detailed. Texture. Everything. insane. It's absolutely insane how that looks. Ultra realistic lifelike Batman model. It's a Nerdy Sphere official. I'm not even sure exactly what company that was, but it was just like, wow, freaky stuff right there. Just absolutely freaky how realistic that looked. Whew. Stuff's just looking good. Stuff's just looking good. Billy Zane. Okay, we kind of talked about this on the Vox stream for like a brief moment, but I'm sure that everybody saw these images of Billy Zane as Marlon Brando. Did anybody at all know that Billy Zane was going to be playing Marlon Brando in a biopic? I don't think anybody really did. I don't remember hearing about it. If you actually go on IMDb, you don't see anything when it comes to Billy Zane as Marlon Brando. And yeah, what the hell is happening here? Let's see. Let me get, because there's like a whole collage of shots. Let me get that right there. Here we go. Right here. I mean, what? Look at this. Huh? He looks just like him. What the fuck? We're going to get Billy Zane coming back. We haven't seen him in a little bit. You know, I'm sure he's been working still. He's been doing some stuff, but I mean, he is a stunning image of Marlon Brando right here. Wow. But, you know, after doing some digging and stuff, let's see. I think I had it. So, apparently, according to this is the only thing I really could find about this. It's called Waltzing with Brando. So, that's what the actual movie is going to be called. Waltzing with Brando. But, yeah, if you go on IMDb or anything like that, there's like nothing. Not even IMDb has this movie listed right there. At least I didn't see it when it comes to him starring, but that was the only thing I really found. I'm like, what is this movie? I'm like, who's directing it? Is it like going on a streaming service? Is it going out into the theaters? What's happening right there? But man, stunning. Just absolutely freaking awesome right there. And I love Billy Zane, man. Who doesn't love Billy Zane? Billy Zane's awesome. Anyways. Let's see here. Go back. Some art stuff right there. Talk about that. We'll be talking about that, of course. All right, we got some more things. Well, this is pretty awesome right here, guys. You guys know I'm a big Metallica fan, so look at this. So Metallica was playing. Oh, is there no audio? Oh, there is. So Metallica was playing, and this is a place that has no roof. And as I start playing Master of Puppets, a lightning bolt. How metal is that shit? Look at that shit. As they're playing, it's almost like it was planned. How freaking awesome is that? So freaking cool, man. Had to show that. And then Jeff Loeb is going to be returning to write a 10-issue Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween. It releases in September. So yes, they're continuing The Long Halloween, which of course is arguably one of the best Batman stories. Gotham City learns to fear Halloween once more as a terrible event threatens to destroy Jim Gordon's life and puts Batman and Robin's teamwork to the test more than ever. In a city of liars, masked vigilantes, and criminals, can anyone be trusted? Look at that right there, and some covers that show Batman twice. Looks like it shows Batman, of course. Hey, looks like he's arrested right there. So like a little bit of like a mugshot when it comes to Batman. Then, of course, we have Penguin and the Riddler right there. So, oh boy. Continuation of that. I'll be buying those. You know, we love that story. Those covers go fucking hard, man. Gotta love that. Anybody else hard? I'm hard. Anyways. We got the Michael Jackson biopic, and guess what they're doing? So when it comes to this biopic, I've talked about it numerous times, and of course, Michael Jackson's going to be played by his nephew, Jafar Jackson, who looks stunningly like him and can dance like him. Yeah, I mean, it's not an exact look. If you really look at him, sometimes it's like, okay, maybe it doesn't look that much, different kind of eyes, a little bit, I don't know. And of course, they have all, there's some prosthetics on him, and of course, the Michael Jackson, wig is on there too. But apparently they're going to be reenacting. They're going to be reenacting and showing in this biopic the Thriller video. So these images right here were floating around, showing that they're actually going to be showing the making of the Thriller video. And of course, we have Jafar right there, dressed up, zombified, which is cool. I don't know who's playing the girl, but she's wearing the exact freaking everything. And then, of course, we got all the zombies and everything like that. I think there was more stuff, too. I think there was some more images as well, but it was pretty crazy. Like, I was like, oh, wow, they're going that far. Interesting. Let's see. I think there was more. Yeah, there we go. Here's some more images right here. So they're totally just right there. So we got some more set images. We got them right here, too. Like it. And then, of course, yeah, dancing with all the zombies. 'Cause it's this thriller on the night. This music video scared me as a kid. The Thriller video scared the absolute shit out of me when I was a kid. I thought Michael Jackson was a werewolf, you know. Little did we know he was something. I'm just kidding. Something else. Anyways, no. Jokes aside, the fact that yeah, that music video scared the shit out of me. I was like the whole werewolf opening, and then of course the whole zombie thing that happens. I mean, it's a great video. It's an absolute freaking awesome video, and it's an awesome album and everything. But man, that thing scared the shit out of me. Just ask Mama Film Junkie; she'll tell you. Used to freak me out. 28 years later has begun filming, so there you go. That's just amazing how fast that we heard about 28 years later, you know, obviously the third movie and the 28 days later now, like trilogy, I guess you could say. But it was just like amazing how quickly that just was like they announced who was involved, then they were like who's coming back, and they just like, you know, started just announcing people who were in it, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, Jack O'Connell, Ray Fiennes, and then, of course, Keelan Murphy, Jodie Comer, you know, so it was just kind of like how quickly that actually came about. It was like pretty awesome. Hey, those Disney live-action movies, they kind of blow. I mean, you know, I'm not one to really give a positive feedback when it comes to these Disney live action movies because I never really was a Disney kid. I never really sat and watched, I mean, I watched them, but I was never really like a big, huge fan when it came to these Disney movies that came out when they were just in animated form. Nothing against them. They worked for the time. And then we got John Musker right here, co-director of Disney's 1989, of course, Little Mermaid. He had some words to talk about when it came to these live action movies, specifically, of course, Little Mermaid. He shared his thoughts. They didn't play up the father-daughter story, and that was the heart of the movie in a way. And the crab, you could look at live animals in a zoo, and they have more expression. That's right. Because these live-action animals are pretty terrible, and yes, he was pretty terrible. I think the Aladdin director, too. Let's see. There was another thing, too. The classic Disney films didn't start out trying to have a message. They wanted you to get involved in the characters and the story and the world. And I think that's still the heart of it. You don't have to exclude agendas, but you have to first create characters who you sympathize with and who are compelling. Yeah, talking about a little course correcting, too. Let's see here. We weren't trying to be woke, although I understand the criticism. Okay. So, obviously using the W word. Talking about that. What do you, let's see, was there something else too? He also said, companies are always like, how do we reduce our risk? They like this, right? We'll just do it again and sell it to them in a different form. Or they think, well, we could make it better. But yet they really haven't made it better. But he said right there when he said, and the crab, you could look at live animals in a zoo and they have more expression, like with the Lion King. So yeah, that was a lot of gripes when it came to a lot of people when it came to the Lion King. It's like, yeah, you just have no emotion. You have no expression that's happening. You guys are trying to do this one thing and it's not really working. But then obviously the Lion King made $1 billion. So hey, let's make a prequel. But I love the fact that he said that. I love the fact that he said that. I love the fact that he said that about that stuff. Let's see what else we got here. No, we'll talk about that when we talk about the box office. George Miller said there's actually going to be a black and white version of Furiosa, so nice that there's actually going to be, like, you know, that kind of version. We got to like that. Mattson Tomlin, of course, you know, one of the writers on the Batman and the Batman Part 2, and we're all anxiously wondering what's going on with that script because we're just sitting here. I mean, I don't know how many times, anytime that Matt Reeves tweets something, I'm like, can we get an update on what's going on with the script? We've heard Jeffrey Wright said he hasn't seen a script. Robert Pattinson's waiting. Just seems like everybody's waiting for this Batman Part 2 script. And my theory, of course, is always they're writing Part 2 and 3, hopefully. Well, we got Mattson right here teasing something. I don't know. This probably has nothing to do with Batman. Watch, it has nothing to do with the Batman. But he decided to tease this right here with some interesting font. And I'm just kind of going like, oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? What is he doing? If this is the Batman Part 2, or is he teasing that the fact that there is going to be like a Scarecrow vibe? I don't know. Immediately I was like, this would seem like it's like Scarecrow-esque. It's probably not the Batman Part 2. It's probably just like, Jesus. Oh, we just need something, some reassurance that, hey, things are moving forward. Please, Matt Reeves, please. Hopefully you guys had a good Memorial Day yesterday. Oh, did you guys see this? Batman fans, baseball fans, you guys know who this is, right? Angel Hernandez to retire, like immediately. He's retiring from umpiring in the MLB. Yeah, anybody who's a baseball fan knows who Angel Hernandez is. If you want to know who Angel Hernandez is, he is probably one of the worst umpires in the league. He's basically, we know his name for all the bad calls that he has made throughout the years. Just go on YouTube and type in Angel Hernandez. You'll get compilation after compilation of all the bad calls and all the numerous arguments that he's gotten in with players and managers and throwing them out and stuff like that. Just a really terrible umpire, but he, like, for some reason was like sticking around. But it was like, oh, he's they're finally making him retire. Oh, well, that's good. Finally. Oy. All right, and that's pretty much it when it comes to the tweets right there. So, good times. Let's see, good. Oh, all right. Just looking at some things right here. All right, but yeah, say his name, Angel Hernandez. How we doing out there? Hey, we got somebody named Chewy out there. Good to see you. We got the Black Red. Good to see you as well. He's referring to Princess and the Frog, by the way. Black and Chrome edition. Yeah, as long as he's taking his time, I'm fine. I'm trying not to panic either. I'm really trying not to panic. Maybe it could be like a Hush reference. Who knows? Could be that too. It's just like, we just need something. Just need something to reassure that, hey, everything's okay when it comes to the Batman Part 2. That's all. You know, just a little bit of something. Just a little cookie crumb, Matt Reeves. And maybe what Mattson posted, maybe that was a little bit of a cookie crumb. Most likely it's probably something else, so who knows. All right, let's talk about the DCU. All right, well, over the weekend, or pretty much like Friday into the biggest news, I guess you could say, is when it comes to the Lantern series, the Green Lantern series, the Lanterns, as they're going to be calling it, is, well, there was like a little bit of like, there were some scoops out there, some rumors that DCU leaks, I mean, there's a lot of people posting, I don't know who, like, did the whole scooping or whatever the fuck, but basically it was like, hey, we got pretty much our writers and we got our stuff. We knew that Tom King was probably going to be involved in some fashion when it comes to this, but there was a rumor, the rumors that came out there that, there were certain names that were listed that were I guess they found something with everything, but James Gunn was like, all right, Time to confirm that, yes, it is true. The Lanterns DCU series is putting together a crack team of writers based on a wonderful pilot script and Bible by Chris Mundy, Tom King, and David Lindelof. A hearty welcome to Chris and Damon Lindelof as they join the DC Studios family. No welcome necessary for old Tom King, who has been there nearly since the inception. Ooh, Damon, of course, did the Watchmen series, and we were kind of talking about that on the Vox stream, like, oh yeah, he's known for that. He's known for a lot of other shows as well, too, but when it comes to DC, it was like the Watchmen series was definitely had his name on it and all over the place. But then, of course, naturally, when it comes to, well, this fandom, the Snyder fandom, you know, they like to dig things up on James Gunn. And there was a little post that they found on Facebook that had this to say about Lindelof. Lindelof is close to Satan in my book because of the end of Lost. Of course, did Lost. He's the Uri Geller of storytellers, a total scam artist with no integrity whatsoever, and a liar. Whoa. Liar, liar, pants on fire? Well, there was that. So it was like, 12 years ago, apparently that was posted. But then you start looking at where the post came from, that certain Facebook page, and if you actually go to it right now, it is no check mark. It does have like 70,000 followers on it, and it's got an old image of James Gunn who has a raccoon on his shoulders. And you would think, I'm like, I don't know. And then I saw somebody else who made a video about it and talked about it, said, yeah, it's actually fake. It's not real. So it's looking like it's not real, folks. So this whole thing about James Gunn hiring somebody that he does not respect and who called him Satan doesn't look to be real. All this does right now, it just makes the Snyder community look bad when they, at least, you know, these guys are making it look bad. And that's what we just got to be like, it's supposedly just not real. I remember I kept seeing it and I'm like, all right, I'm going to investigate it and look into it. I'm like, okay, maybe he did say something about that and thought that, because, you know, we saw the stuff right before when he talked about Batman 89 and The Dark Knight, and now we're even questioning if that's even real. But it was like, we saw that. I'm like, okay, I mean, let's face it. I mean, James Gunn back then, I mean, he was saying some weird shit when it came to social media. But like I said, you look at that page, it's not looking like it's actually James Gunn. So again, it's like, can we stop doing this? Can we just stop doing this? Because all this is doing is making Snyder fans and even Zack Snyder look bad. I don't know how many times I gotta keep on saying it when like these guys do this. It just makes Snyder look bad. It makes Snyder look bad. But these guys don't care. Because they're not actually Zack Snyder fans. They're just DC Zack Snyder fans. They found their little fucking echo chamber, and now all they want to do is just destroy anything else that comes out, and they hate James Gunn so much that they're just going to find anything they can and then post about it everywhere. And it's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because then I'm just like, all right, maybe it's true. And even if it was true, I'm like, okay, so if it was true, maybe he did say this. But now there's a change, you know, after 12 years, you change your tune. We're allowed to do that too as well, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's just like, it's just frustrating. It's just frustrating that we get to that point where we're trying to dig up old things. And then, of course, in the process of digging up old things, we end up finding fake things, not real things. And what is this all going to accomplish? All this is accomplishing is you're hurting the Zack Snyder name. Sadly. But these guys don't even care. They don't care. They actually just don't care. They don't care. And it sucks. It's funny, too, because then we had this screenshot right here when he had Damon actually comment on a Christmas post from James Gunn. You know, so we had that right there, and it looked like they were, you know, having a friendly little conversation. We also have this right here when it comes to James Gunn. Somebody asked if the Teen Titans movie will be in production on December 31st, 2024. James Gunn said, nope. So he didn't debunked that there isn't a Teen Titans movie. He just debunked the fact that it's not going to go into production on New Year's Eve, which why would it actually do that? It's kind of just weird. But he just said nope on the production date. He's never confirmed yet if there is going to be a Teen Titans movie or not. He never debunked that. So sounds to me like there actually is going to be a Teen Titans movie or something. It's just not going to be going in production at the end of the year. Interesting. Okay. Thanks, James. Jimmy Guns says nope. All right. Another thing that James Gunn actually commented on too is Deathstroke. Please wink if you have plans for Deathstroke. I'm waiting for my boy to shine for so long. So he winked with an emoji. All right, Teen Titans, Deathstroke, that kind of go hand in hand. They could go hand in hand. Are we just having like something and Slade's going to be the big baddie in the Teen Titans movie? I don't know. It seems like we're just kind of looking at one thing right here, right? When it comes to him saying nope with that and then winking about Deathstroke. That's what it sounded like to me, at least. I'm just kind of putting it both together right here. Well, good. Deathstroke should be, right? And now we got Glenn Powell. Glenn Powell has been doing a lot of talking. Like, it seems like just like every magazine is just doing some kind of expose on Glenn Powell. I mean, it just seems like he's just the hot item in the past couple of weeks, which is fine. You know, Glenn Powell, I like Glenn Powell. I've seen him in a couple of things, but I really, obviously Top Gun Maverick really put him on the map. But one of the things when asked about superhero movies, and I respect him that he actually said he doesn't want to actually join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He actually has said that. He also said he didn't want to take up the role of the new Jurassic Park movie, which I just kind of go like, geez, how bad is that script? But he talked about playing Batman to GQ magazine. My approach to Batman would be bold. It wouldn't be like Matt Reeves. It would probably be close to Michael Keaton. So he's up for playing Batman, and a lot of us are like, no. Booster Gold, sure. Hal Jordan, sure. And I even did a little poll. I ran a little poll on YouTube. I should have ran it on Twitter, but I ran a poll on YouTube because I was like, all right, I'm curious. And out of 250 votes, Batman got the least, 5%. Booster Gold, 37%. Green Lantern, 51%. And then I just put other just because why not? And I saw some people go like, oh yeah, Glenn Powell would be a good Batman. And I'm just like, no. I just don't see him as Batman. I just don't see him as Batman. I do see him as a Hal Jordan or a Booster Gold. I could see both of those. And maybe that'll happen. I don't know. But yeah. A lot of people want to play Batman. Who doesn't want to play Batman? Of course. I want to fucking play Batman. I can. Maybe. No. I have a good chin. Maybe. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, everybody wants to play Batman, naturally. But I mean, he even said before that he'd be down for a Booster Gold at one point. So, yeah, I just do not see him as Batman, Bruce Wayne. No. I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it at all. But I could see a Hal Jordan, a Booster Gold, for sure. For sure. I don't want those thin lips underneath my bat cowl. Deathstroke should be in Teen Titans, yes. Wouldn't it make sense for Teen Titans to come after Brave and the Bold, seeing that Damian is coming? Yeah, that's very true. Alan Ritchson, I even don't see Alan Ritchson. Absolutely not. Ben Affleck doesn't. Ben Affleck doesn't what? I would say he'd be awesome Hal, but isn't Hal supposed to be older than Guy Gardner? And Nathan Fillion is kind of older than him, yeah. So that probably won't happen either. Yeah, it's just kind of, I don't know. And let's see, I think that was pretty much all of the DCU stuff that, let's see, the DCU stuff. Was there anything really else? Well, we had a video from one of the workouts, nothing like the other videos for sure. Let's see. Well, we had this right here. Speaking of Booster Gold, So yeah, speaking of Booster Gold, we have Anthony Starr, who's also been fan cast as Booster Gold as well, and naturally we got The Boys season 4 that's going to be coming out, so they're making the rounds. And with an interview with comicbook.com with Chris Killian, he asked him about that.
You and James Gunn started following each other on social media. Now there's all these rumors you're joining DC and playing Booster Gold. So my question is, I just want to know if you're even interested in playing a superhero who isn't addicted to breast milk.
No, me and James just play golf.
Perfect.
If there ain't milk, I ain't doing it, honey. No, it's listen, I think he's amazing. I cannot wait to see what he does with the DC universe. I think he's a phenomenal director, producer, talent. He's just, he's one of the biggest brains in the industry. So I'm excited to see what he can.
There you go. So if there's no breast milk involved, he ain't playing Booster Gold. I think that's a little too on the nose, too. Just the fact that he's Homelander, and then you just kind of can see, like, a little bit of, like, maybe, I don't know. I don't think I'd want, Anthony Starr, I like him. I don't know if I'd want him as Booster Gold, but then, of course, I do see it. I don't know. It's so interesting, but I like what he had to say right there. Good stuff. But, yeah, that was only really the other thing right there. Does he have anger problems? He probably does. I know he got, like, arrested for something, but I think that actually didn't go too far when it came to that. All right. Netflix and co-CEO Ted Sarandos. All right, so with the box office being where the box office is and how people are just basically going, you know what, I could just watch it at home. I could watch things on my phone. We all joke about it. But, let's face it, Netflix they took they took the movie industry and just sent it over into a different realm. We're in a whole different spot, and then of course we have all these other streaming services. After the pandemic, everything just got crazy and stupid, and he talked with the New York Times. He was being interviewed, and a lot of the trades talked about what he had to say. And one of the things too that he said, when it came to AI, he did talk about AI, and I think he basically just said something that has been said before. I think it's been said before by other people, and I think a lot of people in the industry, when they get asked about AI and how that's such a touchy subject, they just basically said that AI is not going to replace anybody's job, but an artist that utilizes AI tools would replace somebody that doesn't. So he did say something about that, which I do agree with. It's like, yeah, you're going to have to utilize some of the tools to that further the art of like VFX or anything. Yeah, you're going to utilize the tools, and that's going to make you stand out. That's just the way it is. As long as it doesn't full on flat out, you just have these companies that just hit a button and they create something. Of course, there's probably going to be companies that actually do that. That's the only thing. That's the thing when it comes to talking about AI. But he had this to say right here, and we just have the quote. I'm not going to pull up the entire article, but we have this quote from him talking about, oh man, I just hate this. I hate this quote so much, and I'm just like, fuck you. Fuck you. There's no reason to believe that the movie itself is better in any size of screen for all people. My son's an editor. He watched Lawrence of Arabia on his phone, talking about how Barbie and Oppenheimer would have been just as big on Netflix. Where is it? There we go. Yeah. What? Oh. There's no way that both of the people were showing up dressed up, okay? There were dudes showing up with their daughters dressed up in pink and having fun with all this. Everybody was showing up for Oppenheimer and Barbie, okay? There's no way. You don't get that experience just, what are you going to have a little party at home watching on Netflix? No. It would not have been just as big. And for the love of God, it helped save the box office a little bit last year. And we need something like that to save it this year because of the way things are. But yeah, and then of course talking about his son who's an editor and watched Lawrence of Arabia on his phone. I'm going to call bullshit on that. I don't know. Really? Your son who's an editor watched a classic movie, Lawrence of Arabia, on his phone? If he's an editor and likes editing movies and likes the movie industry, he ain't watching shit on his phone. Get the fuck out of here, Teddy. Get out of here with that. I'm sorry. No. God, just reading that, it smells in here. Ugh. Whatever you're fucking... no, get out of here. Ugh. There's no reason to believe that the movie itself is better on any size of screen. Are you kidding me? God, when I saw that, it puked in my mouth. Ugh. God, there's so... If you love movies, watching it on the big screen, especially if it's a big giant movie on an IMAX, it's just an experience. Watching it, I mean, yeah, you could have your own, like, home theater, and it could be great, but it's never going to beat the experience at a movie theater. Get the fuck out of here, Teddy Sarandos. Ugh. So, yeah, that's him saying something stupid. I mean, obviously being the co-CEO of Netflix, he's going to say stuff like that because he works for Netflix, and they have to make it sound like, oh, yeah, Netflix is just, oh, fuck, ugh, hate that. But again, it's affecting the box office. Because yes, the box office had a very low return for a Memorial Day weekend. That's right. We're talking about the worst Memorial Day weekend in 3 decades, I read. 3 decades, the worst. And obviously we had 2 movies. For some reason, I totally forgot that Garfield was coming out this weekend and not the following weekend. I, for some reason, thought it was coming out this week. But yeah, I'm like, duh, of course they would have Garfield come out this weekend as well. But of course we had Furiosa, and a lot of people were just kind of going like, hey, maybe we'll have a big box office weekend this weekend. Sadly, we did not. Boop. All right, so Furiosa currently sits at, 32.3 domestic, 32.8 international, and 65.1 all together. Apparently, the budget for this movie was a little under 200, I think. I don't know. I'm trying to remember exactly what the budget is right there. But yeah, didn't quite hit at the box office that a lot of people were hoping for. Now, Mad Max Fury Road wasn't a hit right from the start either. We have to remember this. Back in 2015? It didn't even make number 1. It wasn't even number 1 at the box office the weekend that it came out. The weekend that it came out, it wasn't. It got good word of mouth. Now, is Furiosa going to get that good word of mouth? Maybe. When it comes to this week at the box office, there's not a big movie coming out. So maybe it could have a low box office drop for next week. We just have that one point of view killer movie that's coming out this week. That's, it's not a big release. So we do have a break from summer blockbuster season. So maybe it could have a little bit of legs. Let me see something here. Let me type in Fury Road. So Fury Road only had a 380.4 box office run internationally. Okay, budget was 150 million, only 380.4. Good word of mouth, became a cult classic. Kind of wondering if Furiosa does the same thing too. As you can see right there, it wasn't like it was a huge movie, and it opened at 45.4, so it did open better than Furiosa for sure, but it didn't open huge. I don't know, fingers crossed, because I goddamn want that last Mad Max movie that we'll probably get, Wasteland. That's going to be a sequel to Fury Road, so then we can have a nice little trilogy. We have 2 Mad Max trilogies, so hopefully we can get that Wasteland. I just want that. And then, of course, naturally, when you're looking on Twitter or everywhere like that, everybody pretty much, has their response to why the box office is suffering. And it's always the same thing. Everybody pretty much has the same thing. And we've been talking about it over and over and over again. And it's just, the ticket prices suck. They're high. All the concessions are high. Like if a family of 4 is going to go to the movies, guess what? Depending on what movie theater they go to, okay. So here's an interesting thing that I had, like that I was thinking about over this weekend too. Is like, if you're going to go to like a big IMAX theater, or you're going to go to one of these luxury theaters, yeah, you're going to be paying more. You're definitely going to be paying more. But if you go to just your standard theater and you're just like, hey, we're just going to go to the standard theater, watch the movie, and then that's pretty much it, you can actually cut down that price pretty well. I actually saw somebody on my feed showing that they took their family of 4 to the movies, but, you know, didn't do the concessions. Maybe they snuck in candy, which you could, you know, that's always been a thing. And, you know, it was just the standard stuff, and they paid like $40. I'm like, okay, yeah, you could find those discounts out there. But the fact of the matter is, if you do want the food, you do want, you know, if there's booze, or you want the luxury seating and the big screens, yeah, you're going to be paying a lot. But, yeah, it's always the same thing. The ticket prices are too much. But, I mean, I think one of the biggest things, too, is just like the fact that there was just one movie after another. And it's like, can we space them out a little bit? Can we have these movies have a little bit more breathing room? Could we do that? And then, of course, not put them on a streaming service less than a month after they fucking come out. That's the thing. When studios are just like going, just put it on VOD, you know? I mean, the movie If is probably going to be on VOD in the next couple of weeks. Wouldn't be surprised. Furiosa might end up being on VOD in the next couple of weeks if it doesn't do well. I mean, obviously, we could compare the 2015 release of Mad Max. But it was a different time. 9 years ago. You know, this is where streaming wasn't a big thing, and good word of mouth, you know, had it some legs, but I don't know. But of course, you know, and naturally, you got the anti-woke brigade just kind of going like, see, it's because there's no Mad Max, and you guys put Furiosa female-led. How dare you? That's the reason why. All right, so why did Fall Guy fail? Why did If fail? Okay? I just love it when the anti-wokesters are now turning into like the wokesters, are saying that kind of shit, but it's like, well, what's your excuse for the previous movies? What the fuck's going on? I mean, we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes that crossed like 300 million, but it still has a ways to go because it costs 166 million to make, and it's still not going to make its money back right there. That, I mean, I guess they could blame that because that has a female, I don't know. It's just so stupid because they always want to blame like that it was like, you know, they're trying to be anti-woke, but it just doesn't explain some of these other movies that don't have that are also not doing well at the box office. I don't think it really has to do with any of that. It has to do with just the economy overall. Is Max and Furiosa now? Mel Gibson cameo would be badass. I know, they should. They really should. They should. I always thought if he does like another Mad Max movie, Mel Gibson should make a cameo in there. Definitely think that. And speaking of Mad Max, we got George Miller. Remember when George Miller was going to be doing a little Justice League movie called Justice League Mortal? And that was during 2008 when there was a writer's strike that happened then. The industry was the economy was kind of shit then too. So, you know, I mean, let's face it. I mean, there's a bubble that's happening that's within the movie business right now and that's about to burst. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out because it's definitely coming. It's definitely happening. But we have George Miller with a new interview that is basically talking about that Justice League Mortal movie and why he took upon himself to take on that task. And he had some interesting things to say about it because some of the things that he has to say kind of relates to a certain other movie director that took on the Justice League movie. So I thought, you know what? I'll share that with you guys just in case you missed it. And of course, this is from Josh Horowitz on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast. So listen to this right here from George Miller.
You mentioned kind of like, this dance with other films that almost happened. And I don't know if we ever have talked about the Justice League film. It's one of those like unrealized projects that will always be a fascination for me to see what George Miller's Justice League would have been. What was your In a nutshell, what was your fascination and excitement about taking on those characters?
Basically, I'm driven by curiosity, and the thing that sustains my curiosity is not only trying to figure out how to tell stories, but why we tell them.
Right.
And of course, one of the significant thinkers that basically shone light on storytelling for me was Joseph Campbell. But I had no idea.
Joseph Campbell? I think we might have some quotes from Joseph Campbell on some things that Zack Snyder has put out there.
After we made it, why the first Mad Max seemed to have a lot of resonance around the world until I read Joseph Campbell after the event. And then that led to Mad Max 2 and so on. And here I am still sort of doing it. So Justice League, I've always been interested in that. I've always now been aware of the power of myth, as Joseph Campbell, of stories, and how at any level, whether they're anecdotes between two people, your family stories about your local football team, your community, whether they're folklore, fairy tales, religious stories, all of those are basically timeless, and they are in all cultures. We're hardwired for them. And of course, the great attraction of the Justice League is that their roots go way back to the Greeks and the North.
It's exactly, can we get George Miller and Zack Snyder in a room just kind of talking about this stuff? Because it's almost like they are just like totally in sync of like how they wanted to portray these characters and talking about Joseph Campbell. My God.
Particularly the Greeks. And then and I'm so acutely aware of that sort of force in the world. And I feel particularly privileged to grow up in Australia, where we have the oldest continuous culture on the planet in the Indigenous Australian narratives, at least 65,000 years old. Yeah. And the more I get to know them, the more remarkable they are. And without going into a long story, Fury Road was about 5 wives being taken away from the Immortan Joe. And it was only after Fury Road that I remember that one of the base story, one of the founding stories in all the narratives, the so-called songlines of the nomadic indigenous culture that can go back all that time, was a story of 7 sisters escaping a malevolent male force. And they, in their travels across the wasteland, they explained everything.
Right.
Everything, every watering hole, every nook and cranny, every rock, every hill, and indeed the stars. And I thought, wait a minute, this is a continuum.
These stories are so in our bones that you can't.
In our bones, we are hardwired.
Yeah.
That's why cinema, despite all the prognostication that cinema, I think, will stay.
Yeah.
Simply because we need that shared experience somehow.
And it's in a way like, the callous way of talking about why we keep seeing reboots of Superman and Batman is money, but it's also because those stories have power, those myths, they are the modern myths.
They are, without question. And they're completely being reworked and recycled and reinterpreted according to the times.
Right.
They basically have new meaning in the zeitgeist. That's been the progression of stories throughout time. That's the thing that really blows me away. And I think, that's why I'm attracted to them so much. Yeah.
I can listen to that man talk forever. He just, I don't know, just something about, like, when I've been watching these interviews, he's got a love for cinema and he's got a love for storytelling, and the fact that I'm glad that somebody asked him about that Justice League Mortal movie, because, when we saw the concept art, it did kind of look ridiculous. It was like, whoa, is this actually going to work? Because, some of it looked kind of but at the same time, it is George Miller. I think it would have ended up working pretty damn well. I wish I can travel to that freaking multiverse, that universe that movie actually does exist already, because they were about to shoot. They had the entire cast, they had concept art, they had all the actors, And it would have been interesting, even though that group shot very much looks like it's the porn version of Justice League. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, I'm just kind of going, it's still George Miller, though. I would have had faith and kind of wondered like how that would have played out. Would have been interesting. But it just was kind of interesting that he brought up Joseph Campbell and just talking about the mythology of the characters and really telling those stories all the way back to the Greek. I mean, that's just, you might as well be like Zach talking right there. And I just wonder if Zach and George Miller have ever crossed paths where they've actually discussed some certain things like that. When Zach took on like Man of Steel, when he got into the DC stuff, did he look at some of the things that George Miller was trying to do? Did he read that script? That might be something to ask Zach like the next time he might be on. It's just like, hey, did you actually see the story? Did you read the script? Did you know what George Miller was actually trying to do? And did you like kind of be like, oh wow, he was actually onto some of this stuff right here, and he's a Joseph Campbell fan too? Well, there you go. Let's get those two in a room together or something. But yeah, I just thought that was, I was like, all right, yeah, glad that somebody asked about that, because there was somebody that was actually going to be making like a documentary kind of thing. I remember a while back about Justice League Mortal, but that never went anywhere. It kind of sucked. I remember I've like followed the Twitter and everything. I was like, oh, hey, there's, somebody was actually going to be making something when it came to that, but yeah, didn't happen, sadly. Did not happen, but, maybe somebody eventually will. See if we can get, kind of like a Superman Lives kind of thing, or, what happened with the whole, like, Tim Burton Superman that Schnepp did. I was kind of hoping we were going to get something like that when it came to Justice League Mortal, but I don't know. I don't know what the status on that is. Probably not enough. They probably couldn't get enough stuff. I don't know. But maybe somebody will approach it one of these days. It would be pretty sweet. Would be pretty sweet. All right, let's look at some Twitter questions right here. All right, we got Eric. So, Dave, can we safely assume that the co-CEO Schmuck is directly responsible for the lack of Netflix theatrical releases, particularly, let's see, Rebel Moon? Yeah, of course. I mean, they only released it in the theaters that they own, so sadly, I mean, yeah, that's just the way it is. I mean, they want to keep, they're all about streaming. That's what it is. Adrian Woodbanks, let's hype Mark Justice up. Let's hype Mark Justice up as the Green Lantern. Maybe he can play Hal in the DC universe if it ever hopefully returns. Yep. There's Mark Justice. We already talked about. We've talked about that fan film that's coming out. Might have had a conversation with the man. See what happens when it comes to that. Devon Wooter, hey Dave, I have a question. Why does The Rock and Tom Cruise do a movie? Oh, why don't they do a movie together? People will love it. Love to see it. And I finished Mission Impossible 6 and 7. Do you have a favorite scene from both of them? For me, when Tom Cruise and him, yeah, that was actually a pretty good fight scene right there. That's where he reloads his arms, and I remember like the lighting was weird where it looked like his beard like grew also. But yeah, I would say like right there too. That's one of my favorite scenes. Mr. Nobody. So what if Gunn is not a fan of a writer or someone in his team? If anything, that's a good thing because it goes to show you that he's not hiring yes men. None of this matters. It's just gossip talk. And even if it's just who cares, the only thing that matters is the final product. Amen. Got a good point. Jamon Watson, hey Dave, have you seen a fan film called Logan the Wolf, a Wolverine film? If you have, it look incredible. You know what? I might, depending on if I do a show tomorrow or Thursday, maybe I've been actually thinking about that and I totally forgot about it. Thank you for reminding me. Maybe I'll do like a little live watch. I know other people have reacted to it, and I remember hearing about it, so maybe that could be one of the topics, is watching that and checking it out. Darkness Under the Wind. Dave, question 1. With Gunn confirming Deathstroke will be in the DCU, when would you like him to be introduced? Batman Brave and the Bold, Titans movie, Waller show, or his own project? I would say Waller would probably be like a good spot to tease him, but it sounds like to me, just by going like just looking at what he had to say about the Titans movie and just not debunking that there is going to be a Titans project, sounds like he probably would be the big baddie in there. but it'd be nice if they actually teased him and maybe teased him in Batman Brave and the Bold. Question number 2, if Matt Reeves expanded his Batman universe to a full cinematic universe specifically on Batman and his entire Bat family, if the old regime never got replaced due to heavy reliance on the popularity of Batman more than any other hero, would Joker have to be the big bad after what we got at the end of the... Yeah, I think they would. Yeah, I think he would actually build him up to be like the big baddie of the third part. You know, I mean, it just goes hand in hand. It's like Batman's Joker. You're going to have Joker in there. You just have to do it. You just have to do it. Just like Lex Luthor has to be a part of Superman. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is right there when it comes to that. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to overall, when it comes to all the stuff, like I said, it just looks like that James Gunn posting was actually not real. Like that Facebook page doesn't have a check mark, has an old image of James Gunn, so it doesn't look like it's real. And like I said, and I'm just kind of going like, good God, man. I just wish like some of these diehard Snyder fans would stop doing this kind of stuff, because all it is just working against everything that we try to build up in the last few years when it came to pushing Snyder's vision, getting Snyder's vision out. And now it's just like, man, what are you guys trying to achieve now? Now you're just trying to tarnish. It almost seems like you're trying to tarnish all that we try to do, and it just sucks. That's the case. You know, it's like, okay, you don't like James Gunn and you don't like what's going on, fine. Then it just support Zack. He's building his universe right there, but I don't think they're actually full-on Zack Snyder fans. I've been saying that for the longest time, so I don't know. Anyways, that's it for today's show, guys. Appreciate you guys clicking in and spending some time with me. Like I said, unless something like crazy happens tomorrow, I'm going to push tomorrow's show to Thursday, because I'm not going to go to the movies on Thursday. I'm going to take a little break from going to the movies since I've been going consistently. I do want to see that one movie, but I don't think it's actually playing at my local movie theater. That's the bad part. It's not playing at my local movie theater, so I'm like, I'm just going to not go to the movies on Thursday. So I'll have a show on Thursday, unless something, big shows up tomorrow, then I'll have that. But I'm still having DC Fanimated tomorrow with Scott and I, talking about Batman, of course. So click in on that. And then, yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that like, thumbs up before you leave, share the stream if you'd be so kind to. That helps. Comments also helps the algorithm, guys. All that stuff. And like I said, if you want to get some new Film Junkie merch in the store, down below. Subscribe to the Patreon too if you want to do that, and then of course follow me on all the sock mans. All right, guys, love ya, and I'll talk to you later.